Let me tell you something real quick. It's never too late to start KDP, especially with this easy coloring book niche that's making people hundreds a month. In fact, right now you can make an extra $400 a month from just one book. No, you didn't miss the boat. No, you're not too late. And no, you don't need to be an artist or even have a design degree or even know how to draw a straight line. In fact, I'm going to show you how to create this exact type of coloring book step by step today, right now in this video. And the reason I know this works, because I've done it over 2,000 times. Now, if you're new here, my name is Jeff and I've been self-publishing on KDP since 2019. Over that time, I published over 2,000 books and generated over 6 figures in royalties. My goal is to help you become self-sufficient when it comes to making money online. So if this sounds like you, feel free to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. With that being said, let's get right to it. Now, just because I have over 2,000 books published doesn't mean that they all sold. Actually, some flopped. Some didn't sell a single copy, but others quietly stacked up month after month. One coloring book started at $50 a month, then $120, then $400, and that's just one. This niche I'm about to show you is low competition, beginner friendly, and best of all, it's predictable. Parents buy it, teachers buy it, retirees, crafters, Etsy fans, people buy it because it's simple and stress-free. And you're going to see how to make a basic book that actually sells. So here's what I want from you. Watch this video all the way through because in just a minute, we're going to jump straight into the tutorial. I'm not going to waste your time today, just the process. But if you want a full detailed walkthrough that goes deeper than I can in one YouTube video, something that holds your hand from your first book idea all the way to publishing and getting paid, then download my KDP royalty roadmap. It's completely free and I'll leave the link in the description down below. The truth is, AI tools, automation, even economic uncertainty, none of it matters if you understand the system. Amazon KDP still works, it still pays, but only for those who execute. So if you're tired of watching others talk about passive income while your side hustle sits in drafts, this is your moment to change that. With that being said, let's get started. Now, the niche that we're going to be talking about today is the Unicorn Bold and Easy coloring book. This is part of that bold and easy coloring book niche, that viral trend that's happening right now. So if you know what's going on, there's a lot of demand with these types of books. And so we're just hopping onto that bandwagon. And I already did the research for you. This one, Unicorn, pretty simple. Let's look at the data. Total results, 182. Exact match, 1 out of 16, which means how many books are using this exact keyword in their title. So there's some opportunity here for you. Independently published books, 15 out of the 16 books. We all know that this niche is basically a KDP niche, and the average bestsellers rank 2 million, a little bit high, but I'm going to show you that there are a handful of books here doing well, and you could do the same. And the average reviews only 5. So that means there's a lot of books here that are still brand new because they're still racking up reviews. Now the average price, $7.94, which is your typical price point here, about $7 to $8. And we see a niche score from Titan Squigview of 54. Now this is all good and dandy, but the very first thing that I always look at when I'm getting into a niche, trying to see if it's something that's profitable, something that's going to be worth my time, is I'm going to look for competition. And so for that, I look at total results. And right here, 182. Now, when looking into competition, I like to look for search results that have about 1,000 or less, because this is going to tell me that the competition is not too competitive, which means that getting a book ranked on the first or second page of Amazon is going to be a little bit easier so that it can be seen and it can be sold. So with the total results being 182, well below that 1,000 or so that I always look for, I know that this specific keyword in this niche is going to be pretty low competition. And I'm going to show you that right away when we go through the first page here. So now that we know competition is low, the next thing that I look for has to do with demand. Now, when it comes to demand, I'm looking for 3 or more KDP books that all have a bestsellers rank of 300,000 or below, because this is going to tell me that these books are consistently selling every single day, which means that there's some sort of demand here. So if we actually take a look through the first page, the very first book right here, Cute Unicorn Coloring Book for Adults and Kids, is ranked at 26,000. And independently published, which means it's a KDP book. So that's one book doing very well. Now this book is also doing very well, and hopefully I see it along this first page, But since it's a sponsored product, I don't really like to look at these types of books because this is just where publishers are paying to increase the positioning of their books to try to get it up on the first page. However, it does have a 76,000 BSR, so that's good to see. This book right here has not sold yet. It came out a couple months ago. It is a sponsored product. So this just goes to show you that if you put out a book, doesn't mean that it's always going to sell. You still have to work on that cover, which is mostly the reason why people buy the books in the first place. Now here's one. This one is not purely a unicorn book. It has princess, fairy, mermaids. However, it still has unicorns ranked at 78,000. Now the next one right here, ranked at 1 million. Let's keep scrolling. This one is at 475,000. This one you can tell is an AI book created by an art generator. Now if we go straight down here, 4 million. This one right here, 70,000 BSR. So this one is actually doing pretty well. And this one is going to be a non-typical bold and easy coloring book size at 8.5 by 11 inches. Mostly the bold and easy types are going to be this 8.5 by 8.5 inches, like this one right here, ranked at 118,000. And if we keep scrolling down, we can see just a handful of books that have sold well and is still selling well. Even this Ninja Unicorn book is ranked at 600,000, but we can see that it's selling. This is even a different type of niche within the unicorn bold and easy coloring book niche, focusing on ninjas. Now, if we keep scrolling down, we're going to see one more book here, Magical Unicorns, ranked at 324,000. So all throughout the first page, we see books selling very, very well, which tells me that there is enough demand here to justify putting a book in this niche and seeing how well it does. And one last thing I like to look at, it's got to be this niche score by Titan's Quick View. Now, when it comes to the niche score, I basically use this to validate the demand and the competition that I just looked at. And for that, I'm looking for a score of at least 50. Now, with the niche score being 54 and we see demand is high, competition is low, this tells me that there is potential here for profits. So let's go ahead and look at some of these books. Let's look at some of the interiors and see if it's something that we can create for ourselves. Now let's take a look at this book. This is the Cute Unicorn Coloring Book for Adults and Kids, bold and easy, simple and big designs for relaxation featuring magical unicorns. This one has a rating of 4.2 out of 5, mostly 5-star. There's a few 2 and 1 stars here. Price at $5.99. 72 pages overall. So if we look at the description, we can see 35 total pages of coloring. And remember, every other page is going to be a blank page. So if you do 35 times 2, 70, or 72 pages, including the belongs to page and maybe a sample coloring page, and size that 8.5 by 8.5 inches. Now, if we go down here and look at the A+ content, well, unfortunately, there is no A+ content, which you should always put in because it's free to do and it increases conversions. So we're gonna have to actually go to the read sample portion here. Hopefully there are some interiors. So really this sample is only really showing this book belongs to page, but publishers got smart and started putting the interiors on the back cover. So we can see a few here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 interiors here, and even one that is partially colored in. And so we can kind of get an idea of the theme of this type of unicorn book. Now, if we take a look at that bestsellers rank of this book, 26,528, we can see this book makes about 11 sales per day, 330 book sales per month. And in royalty terms, that's about $15 per day and almost $500 every single month, all coming from one simple book. Now, if we take a look at one more book, this is the Cute Unicorn Coloring Book, aged 4 to 8. This one is sized at 8.5 by 11 inches, not your 8.5 by 8.5 inch typical coloring book size for the bold and easy niche. However, it is priced at $8.99, so a little bit higher than the previous book. And so you're going to see with the bestsellers rank and the royalties how that's going to work out, because this book is priced a little bit higher. Now, this book in the description, 58 pages overall. And so this is really only going to have about 25 to 30 images to color. However, it has a 5.0 rating, 5 stars, 5 ratings overall. So the interiors of this book must do pretty well, must be really high quality. If we look at the A+ content, once again, no A+ content, something that you should actually put in all of your books listings. So we're gonna have to rely on the read sample portion here. Hopefully there are some interiors. So here's a couple on the back cover, and we can see the type of interiors here, the theme, the vibe, very similar type of interiors. It seems like the same, but just a little bit different from image to image. But honestly, this looks like something that can be made from an art generator, something that doesn't need to be hand drawn. And we can see that it actually is doing pretty well. Now, if we check out this bestsellers rank, which is a lot higher than the previous book at 76,902, this book sells a third less at about 120 books per month. But you're going to see, because the book price is a little bit higher, the royalties per day, $12, and almost $400 per month, all coming from a single book. So if you play around with the pricing, it can also lead to more royalties, even though your bestsellers rank might be a little bit lower than your competitors. It really depends how you want to price your book and the strategy that you want to go with. Now, there's different ways to create this type of book, but I'm going to show you a beginner-friendly way that you can use an art generator like this one right here, Nurier Creator, to actually create the interiors for this book. So I went with AI generation and a simple freestyle where I'm just going to write out the prompts manually. Now, what I did was I chose a kawaii style, and that's what I wanted to do for this specific type of image. And I just messed around with all the prompts and actually used ChatGPT to help me find some more prompts. But these are the prompts that I came up with. So we have sleeping unicorn on a cloud in a kawaii style, baby unicorn with stars, unicorn eating ice cream, rainbow unicorn flying above sky, unicorn with cotton candy hair, mermaid unicorn swimming in the sea, magical unicorn with sparkles, fluffy unicorn wearing sunglasses, unicorn with heart-shaped balloons, and unicorn riding a scooter happily in a kawaii style. Now, keep in mind, you're going to want anywhere from 30 to 40 images. I'm going to just show you 10, but all you have to do is duplicate this method until you have about 30 to 40 images. So once you go ahead and do that, you have the option between no background and background layer assist. And for this type of book, I wanted the background to be filled in with coloring elements. So that's why I chose background layer assist. And then the image size, obviously this one's 8.5 by 8.5 inches. You can also choose other options here. There's 8.5 by 11. And then lastly, line thickness, you can choose thin, medium, and thick. But for this type of big and bold, I went with thick. And then just hit generate images. And after a couple minutes, it's actually gonna show up right here. And so for the first prompt, sleeping unicorn on a cloud in a kawaii style, you're gonna get 4 images per prompt, which is gonna allow you to pick and choose the best one, or there might be 2 or 3 that might work for you. The 2 middle ones seem to be looking the best, but if I had to choose, I would probably choose this one right here, the second one. And another thing that you can do with Nurier Creator is, for example, if these lines are too thin, you can go ahead and adjust the line thickness right here. And I'm just gonna do 5 just so you can see what it looks like. Hit update image. And then after a couple seconds, you're gonna see that the lines thicken up and they're gonna be looking a little bit better. So that's just an easy way to go ahead and modify these interiors right here on this tool. Now for the next prompt, the baby unicorn with stars, you're gonna see not everything is perfect. So for example, the first one is missing a mouth and a nose. And then this one right here, the third one, I feel like it's missing an eye, but the first one can work. Now for the next one, unicorn eating ice cream. Once again, not all gonna be perfect. This one right here, missing some lines. And then I feel like this one has too much going on. This one is not correct. The best looking one is this third one. Now, if you're not happy with any of the images, you can always resubmit the prompt and see if it comes up with something better. And that's the great thing about this tool is that there's no monthly subscription. You're not paying for every generation or every time that you generate an image. You can go ahead and play around with this tool without having to worry about that. Now, the rainbow unicorn flying above a sky, there's a couple options here. I kind of like the second one. Now, the next set of images, which is 17 to 32, this one's unicorn with cotton candy hair. And so from this one, I kind of like this third one, maybe even this fourth one. Even the first one can work. Now the next one, mermaid unicorn swimming in a kawaii style. Now right off the bat, I wouldn't go with the first one, and I probably wouldn't go with this last one because it's missing a line right here. However, maybe the second one or this third one might work. I'd have to look at it more closer. Magical unicorn with sparkles. This one turned out pretty good. I kind of like this third one right here or the first one. Even that last one could do well. And then this one, fluffy unicorn wearing sunglasses in a kawaii style. We could probably go with this middle one right here, one of these two. And then let's go to that last set of images, 33 to 40. We have unicorn with heart-shaped balloons. And this one is missing an eye. I feel like this one, we're not seeing the eye right there, but the second one looks pretty good. And then the unicorn riding scooter happily in a kawaii style. This one turned out pretty good. I could probably go with the last one or maybe the second one. Even the first one looks pretty good. Now, the next thing is to save these images so that we can actually put it all together. And so you have the option down here. You can download all the images as a PNG, SVG, PDF, or PowerPoint. Now, for this specific one, usually I download as a SVG, but for this specific one, I'm gonna go download all as a PNG because I'm going to upload this onto Canva and I'm gonna show you how to do the finishing touches. Now on Canva, you wanna make a custom size and you wanna choose 8.5 by 8.5 inches and just create the new design. Now the first page is going to be typically a belongs to page. So if you go here to text and add a heading right here, just type in this book belongs to, and then resize it so it fits the page, make it a little bit smaller, just center it right there. And then go to elements on the left-hand side, look for the shape right here, the line, and just put it on the bottom. Take the end right here and just drag it to the other side. You can go ahead and center that as well. Now click on the text, go to effects, go to hollow and play around with this hollow right here. You can add more thickness. And then lastly, change the font to something that would fit this type of book. So I'm going to choose this font right here. I'm going to go ahead and resize it a little bit better. Change the line style here, the line weight down to maybe 2. And then add a page. Now this page is going to be the backside of this page. Now when you're doing a coloring book, you don't want to have any kind of image on the backside of your coloring images. So this page, we're going to leave blank and we're going to add another page. And this is where we're going to start our images. Now you could do a test sample page here, which is just a bunch of circles, but I'm just going to show you how to put your interiors here. Now go ahead and grab all of those images that we downloaded, go and highlight all of them, drag them into Canva, and you're going to see them all right here. We're going to go set by set, picking the best image out of each prompt, and then we're going to go from there. So with the first one, we're going to go with this image. Now, what we're going to do is just extend it here. Now, since the image is extended to the edges of the page, we have to make a little bit of a modification to our actual page. If I go on over to Tangent Templates and I put in all my details, 8.5 by 8.5 inches, 100 pages, interior bleed, yes. We continue here, go to interior, and we're gonna have to modify the interior of this page to 8.625 by 8.75 to incorporate the bleed because our images are extended to the edges of the page. So I'm gonna go here, hit resize, do custom size, and adjust this 8.625 by 8.75. And then I'm gonna click resize this design. And then there we go. Now it's done. And now if you notice with this image, we have a few clouds that aren't perfect. So what we can do, click on the image, go to edit, and then do magic eraser. And then what we can do is we can zoom in on this part. We can delete some of the clouds. So what I like to do is I'd like to delete the clouds right here, as well as this part right here. Hit erase, let's zoom out. And then what we can do is we can go here to elements and we can find our own clouds on Canva and just make sure they're black and white. And then we could just add it in like this, make it smaller. We can make it half right there. We can add another one right here, color this black, make it smaller and put it right here, and then add one more. I'm gonna flip it like that. And then that's just another way to go ahead and clean up the image and make it even more original. Now for the next page, make it a blank page because it's gonna be the backside of this page. Add another page and then go back to your uploads and look at that next set of images and then choose the best one. So I'm gonna go with this one right here, extend it, to the ends of the page there, the corners. There's some hearts here that don't look right. So once again, you can go edit, magic eraser, delete the hearts that don't look correct. You can make the brush size a little bit smaller. Go ahead and do that and then hit erase. Now go to elements and look for your own heart. Make sure it's black and white. Graphics, and then we're gonna go with this one right here. And then I'm just gonna duplicate it again, rotate it, and then put it right here. Now add a page, backside of this page, so keep it blank, add another page, and just repeat the process. So let me go ahead and do this, fill this out for you so you can see what it'll look like. Now, if I go to grid view, you're going to see every other page is a blank page. Here's my coloring images. I actually did and worked on this one right here because it was kind of messy. So all you have to do is clean up the image using magic eraser. And then I just added hearts and stars on this image. You can do that with any image that you think needs to be cleaned up. But I think most of these turned out pretty well. As you can see, all of the images right here, they're all gonna be crisp, all gonna be clear. They're gonna be perfect for coloring images, complete black and white. That's why I like this tool for beginners, because it's built for coloring books. Now, all you need to do is keep adding more prompts, make sure it's the same style, and just keep hitting generate image, add it onto your book. And once you have 30 to 40 images here, pretty simple. All you have to do is hit share, hit download. Download as a PDF print, flatten PDF, all pages, choose CMYK, and hit download. Now, if you want to try out Nurier Creator for yourself, I'll leave the link down below. But keep in mind, I am using the elite version, which is going to have some additional tools available to use that's not part of the basic Nurier Creator. So if you want that, go ahead and upgrade to elite. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell, as well as follow me on all my socials at JeffsAtLife. With that being said, thanks for watching. Bye for now.